orders in. Time to do some. Let's see what we got here. First thing we gotta do, just gotta sort out the orders. Make sure line up with what you got. Okay. Three tea. Ooh. This doesn't seem right. Oh, hello, hello. What is going on today? Just in my garage working. See, oh my gosh, am I even in frame? Oh, no, sorry. Let me fix this. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay, a little bit better. Make sure I have the right. What is going on today? What did I see on the news? I saw, I don't know what's funny, but I saw Gene Hackman and his wife passed away, and oh, that whole scenario seems so sketchy. Like, supposedly he was found in his kitchen, just laying on the floor. That I don't know. You guys have been following it, but it just seems so crazy because I just saw that they found his body, right, and what was it? He was there for like at least 7 days or so, and his wife was found in a bathroom, and it looked like they fell, maybe like carbon monoxide poisoning, but it just seems so suspicious, like carbon monoxide poisoning. I thought we had like detectors for that. I think the most suspicious part though is like, if you guys don't know, I'm talking about the Gene Hackman thing where he was found like partially mummified, and yeah, it just seems so odd because he was found by his caretaker, but I just saw right now that it said that he must have been there for at least 7+ days. That's insane because that means like, did the caretaker take him out? That's crazy. Oh, you know what I was thinking though? I was thinking about this one. Somehow this reminds me of this one case I saw in I think it's like in India. This couple, they were having some sort of like, I guess the wife was cheating on him, and she came up with this plan to get rid of her husband, right? And so like apparently one day like the husband gets attacked by acid, and he's in the hospital, and like everyone's going like, what's going on, what's going on, like why, who would do this thing, who would attack you with this acid or whatever, and and then the husband's brother comes in, right, and then he's like all worried, and it's been a long time, so I'm trying to remember all the details of the story, but like the brother comes in, and they're all trying to figure out why would anyone attack this person, his brother, with acid, like threw it on his face, you know. And then they had to do all kinds of surgery, reconstruction surgery and whatnot, to get him back to normal. And then as they're getting, I remember, as they're getting ready to leave the hospital, the the guy that got attacked by acid, he asked for like a cigarette or something, or to smoke or something of that nature. And the brother was there. He was really weirded out. He was like, "That's weird. Like, you know, I grew up with this guy. I know my brother. He doesn't do that. That's weird. Why would he recover from this and ask for a smoke? That's so weird." And then he got him thinking, you know, like what's going on. And later, and then later on, the guy asks for they're in the hospital. You get hospital food, right? And you know how they give you choices, and like, and anyway, so he got his order, and it was like non-vegetarian, and this made the brother even more like surprised, because he's like, this is really weird, because my brother is a vegetarian. Why would he get this dish from the hospital, and why is he smoking? Like, it just seems so odd. And then so the brother decides to try to get like a DNA test or something. Like, he just, it's just none of this makes any sense. And they get the test, right? And supposedly that's not his brother. Like, that's insane. So they're like, wait, if this is not my, like, he's like, if this is not my brother, then who is this guy? Right? Like, we've been in the hospital for months now. Who is this guy trying to be my brother? Like, why would he even do that? And so the police get involved now, because before they just thought it was some like random attack in India. And now they're like really into it now, because they're like, what's going on? This guy is not who he says he is. And so it turns out, after they do some more searching, they search like the house, right? And then they find this suitcase. And inside the suitcase, after they opened it up, it was his brother inside the suitcase. Basically, they, you know, him up, and they stuffed him in the suitcase. And so now it's like, okay, so who is this guy? That's right. Who is this guy? And so they're questioning now the wife, because she must have. Because how could your husband be in a suitcase inside your house and you know, like, not even notice? And so it turns out she's been having an affair with this guy that she met, and they came up with this plan for him to basically replace her husband. That's why they did the whole, like, you know, acid attack, right? So he can, you know, jack up his face, get it redone, and he could just blend in and be her husband, so she doesn't have to get a divorce or anything, and he could just take over. Like, I think that's one of the most crazy stories I've seen of like of like an affair or whatever. I don't know why the Gene Hackman story reminded me of that, but that's literally, when I see stuff like that, I just think it's crazy. Like, I I feel like if you are going to be unfaithful, just end it with whoever you're with and move on. You know, like, I don't understand why she had to go through all that. And imagine being that guy, right? You meet this girl or a woman, and then she's got a family or a husband, and then at some point they come up with the idea that, what's a good idea? To get acid on your face. So yeah, right. That's crazy. Like, and so like think about this guy's life now, right? He got acid on his face. He's all jacked up, right? And now he's going to jail. So like he's got like double, triple, just because he met somebody like the wrong person. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm like, why? Like if you get into some kind of like if you just fall out of love with whoever you're with, right? Just end it with that person and move on. I don't see why that. Oh my gosh, that's insane. What else did I see on the news today? Oh, there. I mean, I don't know if we really want to talk about it, but the whole Zelensky thing. That was pretty interesting. um, yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Some say that JD Vance kind of overstepped. Some say that Zelensky should have been more respectful. Who knows? Let's see. What else is going on in the world right now? Do, do, do. Well, I don't know if you guys know, I'm in California, so now it's cold again. Last week it was 80s. Now it's gonna be rainy and cold again. And before that, it was rainy and cold. So, like, the weather would be crazy. But great news, sinuses are redder. Oh, what else is going on in the news today? It's so hard to figure out what's on the news now because like everything's dominated by yeah, everything's dominated by the whole like Trump cycle. I'm getting tired of it at this point. I know there's a good question. Um, in your lifetime so far, who do you think was the best president of your lifetime so far? See, I'm trying to think all the presidents I've gone through in just in my lifetime. Let's see, there was I, Clinton, then Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden. I think that's it for me. So, oh, it's kind of hard because I remember when I was in school, they had this program where I'm trying to remember what grade I was in, like second grade. I remember my teacher made us all write a letter to the president, right? And at that time, it was Clinton. Clinton was president, and I remember they wrote us back, or they. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought he really wrote us back. Later on, I knew that his assistant just like put packets together and sent it out, but I thought he wrote us back, and I was like, "This is amazing." Like President Bill Clinton thought of me and wrote us back and gave us all these things. And I remember I had they gave us like a big picture of Bill's face, and I remember having putting that up because I was like, I thought he really signed it, so I was like, this is an autograph from the president. Hi. And yeah, so I was thinking, and I think that had a major influence in my life. That I don't know. I want to say if I have to average them all out, I want to say Bill was probably the best president in my lifetime. Mr. Bill Clinton. Yeah, but yeah, I that's what I yeah, I think so. What else is going on in the world? I wonder if they are ever going to finish that train project. Um, I don't know why I've been thinking about it because I saw some headline that I think in the UK they're canceling their project and they're also way over budget. Ooh, you're New Zealand? The only thing that I can think about if I'm reminded about New Zealand, what am I talking about? I'm talking about just random things that just pop in my head. So far, I was talking about this Indian couple that uh, that I guess the wife wanted to run away with her new boyfriend in an affair, and she came up with this plan to get rid of her husband by chopping him up, throwing acid on her boyfriend so he can get plastic surgery or whatever to become the husband so she could just take over everything. And so that's what I was talking about earlier. And then I was talking about Gene Hackman, how he was found in his house. It just seems so suspicious. Like, apparently, he was walking in his kitchen and just collapsed. And because some people are saying that, it's one of those suicide, like, no, not like one of those things where you just kind of like decide together that you're just going to end it. Right? But then they're saying that usually when you do that, you kind of like slow down and lay in bed, or, like it's like a whole thing. But if you, from the scene, it looked like they just collapsed, you know? So that was really weird. But I found out today that they said that he's been there for at least 9 or so days, and he was found by his caretaker. And then I was thinking to myself, like, dude, you're his caretaker. 9 or so days, you didn't like that. It just, none of it makes any sense. But anyways, New Zealand. The only thing I could think about for New Zealand when I hear, right, is The Hobbit. One is The Hobbit. Two, I remember Justin Bieber filmed a music video there, and I think about one of my friends in high school. He was from New Zealand, and he was super smart. That's when I hear New Zealand. Those are the top three things that pop in my head. Oh, and I think about what's his name? Israel Alessandra. Alessandra. Oh my god, I can't even say his name anymore. But yeah, I think about him because he's from there, and I remember him talking about how crazy the lockdown was over there. Like, he would go out, fight, come back, quarantine for like a month, and it was he's like, it was just so hard. And I remember the other thing is that yeah, he was. I remember that's all I can remember is the Alessandra. Like, what a crazy. I don't know, you guys follow MMA at all, but that is so crazy that you can go from being on top, and then within 2 fights or so, like, oh, time to retire. Like, that's insane. I think that's really crazy. Like, that, yeah, he was undefeated for the longest time, loses maybe like one fight or so, and then boom, it just spiraled down. Maybe that's what it is, when you're on top, it's kind of hard to maintain. What's that thing where they say that it's hard to get motivated for a fight when you wake up in silk sheets or whatever? And I totally get that. That's really hard because you kind of need that grit inside you. Like, there's that other one where I think Mike Tyson, his son wanted to get into boxing, and Tyson's like, what? Why? You grew up in like private schools, gated communities, or whatever. You don't have that grit inside you. Like, who does fighting? People like me, people like dogs and stuff. Like, I remember that's the other thing about it. But yeah, that's so that's so crazy that. And also, the other thing I think is interesting about MMA fighters, they retire very early. Like, at 30 something, early mid 30s, you're done. Imagine like how crazy life is. And it's not like you're like an athlete where they get paid, like multi million dollars. Like, I'm talking about like basketball players or tennis players, like consistent money, right? And because, I mean, at least for in America, the basketball players get paid a lot because they get paid per game. like maybe a few $100,000 or $1 million a game or whatever, and you just do that 82 games, boom, multi millions of dollars, right? And MMA, you only fight 2 or 3 times a year, and you don't get paid until you fight. I mean, at most you do 4 times a year, but that's already very hard. That's tough. So how much? And they only get paid like maybe a couple $100,000 every fight. So at most they get paid a couple hundred. Like it's not that much if you actually break it down, unless you're at the top. But to get to the top, you had to go through the times where you're just making like pennies to get beat up. So yeah, so like think about like you only have such a small window. That is insane. And then what do you do afterwards? Like you spend all those years getting beat up, and then boom, one day you're just done. And then what do you do? Like at least I think what the other sport is kind of hard is actually like tennis. They also only get paid for the tournaments they enter in, and they have to place well. So if you enter in tournaments and you don't place very well, and you got to pay for all the training and whatnot, it's not like you're on a team. I think if you're to be an athlete, you want to be on a team sport. And that gives you the most security, because they're gonna pay you no matter what. But if you're like solo doloing tennis or golf or anything like a solo sport, it's pretty rough, because you gotta win. Imagine you're like on your last penny and you're like, I gotta win. That's pretty rough. Oh, yeah, it doesn't seem there's that much on the news lately. I think it's hard to stay motivated. I feel like I wonder if like people like I wonder if is it better to just do one thing forever, or acquire multiple skills. That's something I wonder about. Like in Japan, they are big on mastering one thing. Like literally, you're like, I am the master of gardening, and then they become like the master gardener. So I wonder, or you could try lots of different things and figure out what you actually like. Like, yeah, I wonder which is actually better. Because like that Japanese culture is so rough. Where what happens is you just fall into something, and then that's what you decide to do now. I'm gonna be the master of, I don't know, coffee. They have those people out there in Japan. Like they literally just do one thing. Like just one thing. That's it. That's all they do, and they become the master of that one thing. But if you try to get them to do something else, they don't. No, that's not gonna happen. Or you could and what happens if you don't even like that thing? That's just the thing that you like. Does what I was thinking? When you first finish school, right, you start applying for jobs, and this is how people get into fields or whatever that has nothing to do with their majors or whatever that they studied in school. It's because after you finish school and you have that, I don't know, business degree or whatever, you start applying for jobs, right? And you're kind of hungry and desperate to get whatever job. So you accept whatever jobs, first few jobs that come your way, and then it could be something completely different than what you do, but you spend maybe 2 or 3 years at that job, and then you learn those skills, and then when you try to apply again somewhere, they're like, oh, on your resume you're really good at this, and then you kind of keep on going down that path, and next thing you know, you're like, that's what you do now. You're like, I'm pretty sure no one going to school is going there to become like a procurement specialist or whatever, but that was the first job that you got out of college. Like shipping company or supply chain company. You're the procurement guy, and then you just keep on going because that's what you learn. That's what you know. Next thing you know, you're 20, 30 years into procurement when you studied, I don't know, what's some kind of random major that people study? The biology, and you wanted to become a doctor. And like, you know what I mean? Like, that, that's crazy. I wonder, like, if anyone's out there, did that happened to you where you kind of just wanted to do something, but you had to take the first few jobs that came your way, and you just kind of moved down that path, and now you're stuck. Because if you wanted to go back into whatever field that you really wanted to do, you would have to start over. Or you could just stick to where you are now and just keep on moving down. Either become the master or something, or know a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah. I think that's it for today. I'll try to come back a little bit later. I'm trying to get all this stuff together and I'm gonna ship it all out. Waiting for the machine to heat up. So, alright. Thanks for dropping by, guys. I will be back later. Doo doo doo. Boop.